Here are the reasons prosecutors have provided to support their belief that YNW Melly is responsible for the deaths of his two childhood friends. Initially, Melly denied being present in the vehicle during the incident. However, prosecutors have phone records that indicate he was indeed in the vehicle. Additionally, there is footage showing Melly entering the vehicle with his friends after leaving the studio. While Melly and his friends initially claimed the incident was a result of a drive-by shooting, law enforcement authorities found no evidence to support this claim. Instead, they determined that the shooting occurred inside the vehicle, with the bullet trajectory originating from the right back seat, where Melly was seated. Furthermore, after the incident, Melly sent messages to individuals that raised concerns as the messages seemed to incriminate him. In a videotape confiscated by the police, Melly allegedly said, quote, "There is no regret for the shit that I did for that N-word to die." Melly has also said questionable stuff to his girlfriend, like saying, "I did that shit, shush." Also, during Melly's girlfriend's mom's deposition, a new motive came out that Sack Chaser had sent Melly's girlfriend nude pictures before the incident. Maybe Melly did the unthinkable to his friend over this reason. An additional compelling piece of evidence is that the tracking of YNW Melly's cell phone showed that it tracked with the two murder victims' cell phones up until just 15 minutes before ynwbortlen arrived at the hospital with their bodies in the car.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you have individuals in two cars and all of the cell phone tracks together, going across 595, going until they get to Miramar Parkway and 184th. At 184th, the red Mitsubishi goes south, and you will then see it at 3:50 a.m. going through the guard gate at Sunset Lakes. That was the gated community in which the individuals were all living at the time of this homicide in October of 2018. On the Sunset Lakes guard video, the red Mitsubishi goes through, the gray Jeep doesn't. The gray Jeep instead goes north and then proceeds to go to the actual scene of the homicides. The gray Jeep goes north on 184th up to Pines Boulevard. From Pines Boulevard, it travels west all the way to the edge of the Everglades, where it is desolate, where it is dark, where there are no witnesses.
The defense raised this argument regarding this cell phone evidence.
They have no motive. Their entire case is hinged upon the technology of a phone they claim to have been in Mr. DeMons' possession. What they fail to tell you is that they come across evidence that Mr. DeMons got out of that car before this incident. They ignore that because it's not consistent with their feet. What they fail to tell you is that phone comes back to the name of somebody other than Jamal DeMons. What they forgot to tell you is that their own witness will tell you that yes, that phone and Mr. Williams' phone and a number of other phones were all in the same account, and all of the people in the house used to use them interchangeably.
However, surveillance footage clearly captures YNW Melly holding the phone as they depart from the recording studio. The prosecution highlights a specific social media message from Melly, which appears to resemble a confession.
One individual, and specifically, sends out, and I want to quote the message exactly that you will hear, and says, right after this, "Yo, homie, you good? Let me know something." And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is where context matters. What does that mean? The context around the messages matters. So in the context of this message, this individual is reaching out, asking if Mr. Demons is good, after he's been tagged in multiple social media posts about this drive-through, this shooting. And Mr. Demons responds very succinctly, "I did that. Shh."
Was this message from Melly all bluster? Was he joking? Or was it an admission to the crime? An experienced crime scene detective testified that based on the evidence, it was clear that this is not a drive-by shooting.
My determination was that this is not a drive-by shooting, and it's based upon this picture here, which is a very good picture to describe it. All of these rounds, all but one, is done at a stationary position. The shooter is at a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going in. So if it's a drive-by shooting, all of these rounds should look like this.
Why?
Because movement is being introduced to that projectile.
So to contrast site L with one of the other sites like U, what does that tell you?
So that's a shot that the shooter is stationary.
Could you describe to the ladies and the jury what area of the car did the shots that killed Anthony Williams emanate from?
From the driver's side back seat.
As to the shot that killed Christopher Thomas, where did that shot emanate from?
Driver's side back seat.
Can you say whether the shots inside the car happened first or the shots on the outside happened first?
Inside happened first.
And from the surveillance video that night, Melly can be seen getting into the back driver's side seat. This is very important because they say the shots were fired from the back seat. Melly's lawyers questioned the detective's testimony on how he's concluded the shooter was not outside the vehicle.
I just need this jury to be clear on why, at the end of the day, the shooter was not outside.
Because we don't have the blood evidence and the trajectory to line up with somebody being outside of the car.
Okay.
The possibility that, no, you don't allow for it. I'm not allowing for it because we could sit here until we're both blue in the face and discuss possibilities. And the possibilities that you're suggesting, I don't agree with. Basically, the shooting happened from somebody inside the car. The blood evidence shows that it happened from inside the car. The angles show that it happened from inside the car. So any suggestion of it happening outside of the car I would not entertain because it's not possible. So the scenarios that you're presenting to me do not line up with the angles into the bodies. Those angles are set. Those angles have been completed. They don't change.
Melly faces the possibility of the death penalty if convicted. He is the first person in Florida to face the possibility of the death penalty since the threshold for imposing it was lowered to 8 to 4 and does not have to be a unanimous vote by the jury because of a recent law change.
Thanks for watching and supporting our channel. Please subscribe to stay updated with our upcoming content. Your likes, comments, and shares are greatly appreciated.